Hello, Dan Del Negro here. Welcome to my latest vlog episode. We're going to be talking about kind of a intersection between Zen or mindfulness and music. I've been reconnecting with the Zen community, and I discovered that they've developed this really wonderful online Sangha, which is like a group of people that practice together. Many wonderful teachers, many wonderful Zen centers you can drop in on virtually. And right now I'm doing what's called a Kyo-che. It's a 3-month retreat. But of course on the online version of it, you can do as much or as little as you want, although they have some recommendations of what you should be doing at a minimum. So one of the things I did, I dropped in on a meditation and Dharma talk night at the Empty Gate Zen Center in Berkeley, California. And I got to hear for the first time in a sort of live context, not on YouTube or pre-recorded, a wonderful Zen master called Bon Song, and his American name is Jeff Kitsis. He's also a psychotherapist. And he was talking about many things, but one of the things he mentioned was chanting is such a wonderful practice because it's before the thinking mind. And this is one of the things that we practice for, to get to where we're coming from this mind that's before thinking. So we perceive things, anything, a sound, a sight, a smell, a situation, another person, as he calls it, before the commentary takes over. And then he went on to segue from saying that chanting is wonderful for that to music in general is wonderful for that. And as a musician, I have to agree. So I decided, after I participated in this live stream, to just sit down and listen to some music. And it was a little bit shocking to me how much my mind, my after-thinking mind, or during thinking mind appeared while I was listening to this music. And I'm sure everybody has some of these kind of thoughts, but I think as a musician, there's even more thoughts like this, like comparing what you're listening to something else, kind of judging how somebody's playing or singing, or the writing, or the arranging, the recording, pretty much everything. And so I thought, wow. And then the following night, I think it was, I played live at St. Peter's Episcopal Church downtown for the weekly jazz vespers I've been doing with the quartet for over 7 years now. And I was trying to apply the same idea to see if I could really just be present playing. And again, I was shocked at how many thoughts came into my mind while I was playing. So I think I was probably not thinking less or more than normally, but just the fact that I was aware and being aware of the thoughts while playing, they probably were more apparent to me. So I was like, well, okay. I think this is a practice here, something I can work on. So one of the tools we use in the Quantum School of Zen when we meditate, and also in everyday life, when we notice that we get lost in thought, we can say, don't know. In other words, return to the mind that doesn't know, which is another name for this before thinking mind. And another little tool we can use, we can say to ourselves, what is this? In other words, what's happening right now? Not what I'm thinking about from the past or the future, or just being lost in thought, but what's happening right now? So I decided to employ those tools, and I found that the what is this rather than the don't know seemed to be quicker and more effective in the quick transition from moment to moment, that is music. So that's what I want to talk about and demonstrate today. Coming back to this before thinking mind while listening to music and then playing music. So I'm going to play something, you're going to be able to hear the recording and listen and make a few comments on what's going on in my mind when I use this tool and when I just don't. And also I'm going to play live and do kind of the same process. And I have to comment also, as many have said, it's almost impossible to stop the mind from thinking. But the thing is, we talk about not being attached to our thoughts. That's the difference. That's where we can come from this before thinking mind and see things clearly more and more. So we'll be listening to music or we'll be playing music and a thought will come in. That's cool, you know? Just let it go. But sometimes, as I'm sure we've all experienced probably, one thought will come up and it'll lead to another, and pretty soon we're lost in thought. We haven't heard the music that's gone by during that time. Or if we're playing, we're just playing on automatic pilot for a while, you know. And either way, we're missing a lot. Especially with music, things go by so fast, of course. So this is the practice. Not trying to never have any thoughts while we're playing or listening, but generally have the intention to be more aware and notice the thoughts and then come right back to the music. And then we can employ a tool like, for example, this "what is this" question. Say it to ourselves silently when we notice that we have been lost in thought. And it's just a very quick way to snap back into the present moment, which is listening or playing music. So let's start with listening. I have one of my tunes that I'm working on that's going to be my new single coming up before too long. And so I'm going to listen to that. Let's just do it without using any tools at all. I'll do a little commentary, like audibly let you know what's coming into my mind. So here we go. Oh, I think I like that new drum sound that I've been working on. Maybe should turn down the cymbal a little bit, the right cymbal. Bass sounds pretty good. Well, I'm going to give it a pause here. So as you can hear, plenty of thoughts came in. And actually, the experience was kind of like I wasn't really hearing the music hardly at all. I was all stuck in my head. Now, one of the things we can do with this "what is this" tool, we can actually say it right before we start the music. And that way, right from the get-go, we're more present. So I'm going to try that. What is this? I hope this isn't forced. Wonder how long I should play it. Wow, this audio setup sounds really good. I guess it's a good idea to use this thing. Oh, there I am, lost in thought. What is this? I'm back. So that was quite a different experience. As you could hear, I had a few comments, what I was thinking during this second take of listening to this tune. I started with "what is this," as you could hear, and it did bring me right back to where I was pretty aware and pretty open and pretty undistracted by thoughts for a while. And then I indicated when I noticed that a thought came. I think there were two of them, but I was able to come back to the music pretty quickly, so I didn't really have to employ any tools such as "what is this." But then a little further on, you'll notice that I said, "uh-oh, I'm lost in thought." So I had a thought and it led to two or three subsequent thoughts, and I noticed it. So I said, what is this? Which brought me back to the song again. And overall, such a big difference between the first time I listened without the practice and the second time I listened with the practice. Like I said, the first time, I hardly heard the music at all because of all these thoughts that were coming into my head and that I allowed to continue into a cascade of thoughts, if you will. And the second time with what is this, starting it and being able to come back, not only not so much distracted, but not having this overlay of thoughts on the music. So also the intention of really listening. So I could really hear things that maybe I haven't heard before in this tune. Of course, this is a song I'm working on, so I've probably listened to it at least 100 times, if not more. But using this practice and really being there while I was listening to the song, it almost felt like it was the first time I heard it. Just hearing things like they were new. In this wonderful online Zen community I've been a part of now for a while, there's been some conversation about the old Zen classic, Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind by Suzuki Roshi. And right at the beginning of the book he says, in the expert's mind, the possibilities are few. In the beginner's mind, the possibilities are many. So that was kind of like what happened here. In other words, if you're bound in by concepts, maybe in this case musical concepts like, oh, I want to make sure this sounds good, I want to make sure I played good and I wrote it good and the recording's good, then you're kind of hemmed in. But if you have beginner's mind, you don't have all these concepts in your mind. You can really hear it. And I would say, even if you're listening to decide if it's good enough to release or you want to work on some stuff, if you want to get an overview and really have things in perspective instead of wondering if this part's good enough, that part's good enough, listening in this way, the beginner's mind way, get a good perception that you can trust. And that's the reason why we do this practice for life in general, to really get this intuitive knowing and this clear seeing in any situation. So now we'll move on to actually playing some music right here and right now. I'm just going to play just totally improv. I'm not going to try to play a song. I'm just going to play the piano and whatever comes out, comes out. First time I'm just going to play and allow my mind to just do it at once, and see what happens. I hope this video turns out well. My chops could be a little better here, my technique, Same idea as the listening session when I just allowed my mind to just go wherever it wanted to go. Kind of not really being there that much, kind of almost being in a fog, So now we'll do it with the practice and see how things work out. What is this? Low clam. Thinking about what I'm going to say just for a minute, just for a second. What is this? Yeah. Well, that certainly helped. As I verbalized, I had a few thoughts that came up, but I pretty much came back and didn't really get lost in thought. There was one, the thought was a little stronger. Maybe there were a couple thoughts stitched together. So I said, what is this? And that did bring me back. It's even a gradation, if you will. You know, it's like a fader, not a on-off switch. Like you can notice how you're sort of semi-lost in thought, or you're just a little distracted, like I said, in a fog. And that, another thing we do, come back. What is this? What is happening right now? Really clarifies the focus. So I'm going to keep on doing that. And I encourage you, if you're not playing music, try listening with that. Say, what is this? And bring yourself back. And if you're playing music, same deal. And let me know in the comments how things work out. Thanks a lot for joining me. Have a good one. Bye now.